Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Duffy Duck here once again, and I'm back from the Maxi Toys, and welcome back to my last play of Marbles Balance Challenge for the Nintendo Wii. So last time we actually did finish World 5, which was Ocean Treasure, and then we somehow managed to discover that we, well, have a good time on that. Well, except grabbing the last green crystal on level 3, because of that little gold thing I accidentally touched. And today, for this episode, we're about to continue on and head into Space Station, but much like Ocean Treasure, we can't access to this world unless if we actually have some ship parts. So, unless though, that's what the Anthony was trying to say, although first things first, let's go ahead and get into Haunted House, and because of that, we need to build a spaceship. A spooky haunted mansion should be fun. Oh, behind you. Or, predictably, there might be some ghosts here involved in there, but, obviously we've already been to this world before on one hand, on, when we're trying to get the screw from, trying to get the submarine done, or in this case, just a periscope. Now, as you guys probably noticed by now, that, even then you do have a submarine right from the get-go, so there's no need to get into Candy Island for the time being, so instead of that, we can go ahead and hop into these two worlds, specifically in respective, level name, or the level numbers. So, in this case, we'll be heading to level 5 of, Haunted House, and then eventually, we're about to be jumping to level 5 of the city level as well. So, that should be good to go from that part, so, yeah. But, you only have, like, 2, ship parts in order to collect, in order to, proceed for the story, or perhaps for the most, trying to get into the space station as a result. So, the only 2 parts you need to grab is the, I'm pretty sure it's the, rocket, thing here, and, as well as the wings, so I'm pretty sure that's what I was gonna think of for that already, so, yeah. And as you guys probably suggested already noticed, is that the space station... I fling off to the edge of the level. That's not fair. Anyway, there's a few things that I just want to briefly mention about something. First off, that I've almost seemed to done with this game until we'll actually get into... You know, still continuing on, Banjo-Kazooie eventually, on, when me and Twilight Sparkle was gonna still continuing on that, and, 2, that, now obviously that, now there's a new virtual console game that was gonna be released on the Nintendo Wii U, well, usually the Nintendo 64 game. It's not just called the Lyad Wars in the PAL version's name. Instead, it's gonna call it Star Fox 64 as the Americans' version of the name. So, and the thing is, because of that though, the reason why they've done that is because they want to make it a nice 60 Hz mode. As far as when the game's frame rate, as far as I'm concerned of, maybe. Alright, now we collected one of the rocket engine, and now we're heading to the city. A huge day crawling with humans, don't get stepped on. So, basically we have to get the, you know, the wing from that level. So let's head into level 5. And because of that, you know. And then after we actually did done with this level, then we can eventually fuse those, vehicles together. And then we'll eventually, well, get into the space station, obviously. So, as far as what I've noticed is that the space station is basically pretty much equivalent to the space world from the Coral Ripper game, assuming with what this is all about, where it's basically an extra world in the game, which is considerably the hard levels of the entirety of the worlds themselves. But I guess I'll just have to encounter that during the later parts, and rather than that, there's a Storm Temple part just right over there. But again, I don't think those won't count, because otherwise, although you can collect them if you wanted to, but sometimes they actually become quite tricky to actually get it from. Although predictably you might find some easier ones, but then I just don't think I can just find them in these secret levels. So there we go, that's 2 levels done. So now we actually got the bronze trophy, and we actually got, oh, just the rocket engine. Okay, I almost get confused with what type of items you actually get if you actually complete certain levels. So basically, that after we attain those 2 items, then we hit back to the space station, and then he's trying to tell us, amazing, you've got all of the spaceship parts. Just fuse them together at the junk factory to build a spaceship. So yeah, you know what the objective looks like. It's basically pretty similar to when we used to fuse the submarine, but except rather than just call it submarine, it's spaceship, obviously. And then once again, we have to get into the junk factory. In fact, this is going to be one final time to actually go ahead and get into this mode, because obviously, I don't think we can actually deal with the vehicle parts this time until we actually get into the later down the road. So let's fuse them together, and then we actually create the spaceship. Nice. So now we go up with that, and now we're about to be hit into the actual World 6, and yeah, the fused vehicle parts option is now gone. Because the thing is though, the only vehicles you only get in this game is just only 2, so that's basically what we can get for this. So yeah. Alright, let's move on to the space station. So we need to find it first before we actually do anything. So, in fact, there it is, just right over there. And it seems more likely the environment of the sky has actually changed. Like, the one where we actually saw from the cutscene is actually nighttime, and then all of a sudden we see this cutscene here, and then it's all in daytime. And now we're heading to the space station. It does remind me of something related to, like, Sonic Adventure 2, when they made it to the Space Colony Arc with the pyramid on the rocket, which, it's kind of weird at first. But first, before I jump into the world, your journey through deep space, and it's almost there. Sorry for the lack of dialogue, it's just I can't see the text properly. But anyways, here we are at Space Station, World 6, here we go. So, here we have the first level in this world, so as you guys probably suggested, the game can get pretty difficult later on, so it almost makes me think of the expert stages from Super Monkey Ball 1, and especially Super Monkey Ball 2 even. I have no idea why I just done that right there, probably because I just like to do a little trick just to actually grab the Stone Temple part, but I think I need to grab that until later, so yeah. This music is quite nice though, it's pretty catchy though. And there's a new type of gimmicks we can actually come across with, is these little gravitational device. If you touch one of those, it goes into like a different gravity or something like that. And there's also the teleporters, which can actually, if you touch one of those, you can teleport into someplace else. So, yeah, there's the first Stone Temple part in this this world. So, pretty easy to grab just to think about it. There's a checkpoint right there, so you know what I'm, to get suggestions. So, yeah. And yeah, as I said, that this level can be pretty tricky, especially when you're trying to get into the end of the game itself, on the main quest, on the main game. That, the level layout is going to be pretty dang nerve-wracking and quite challenging too. So, yeah, mainly for this little orange jewel stuff right there that I seem to have the most trouble with. In fact, because you need to actually stay onto that specific block, the moving block I should say, until you actually try to go ahead and grab it quite carefully. And also, tomorrow, after this video is going to be released, that Hyrule Warriors Legends is about to come out on the Nintendo 3DS, which I'm actually looking forward to that actually, I can't admit though. But, unfortunately though, I haven't exactly finished Hyrule Warriors because I was still busy just about to be playing on the actual Legend of Zelda titles. That's the only thing I must to think of. But, it does have some really good reviews on the 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors. The only people seem to complain about Hyrule Warriors Legends is the fact that the 3D effects looks pretty crap. Like, just like New Super Mario Bros. 2, that in since Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Nintendo 3DS, that in that game was actually has some really blurry background into the levels itself. But I think in Hyrule Warriors Legends, according to that especially if you actually own the new Nintendo 3DS device. I'm assuming that if you turn on the 3DS on, or the 3D on, that, I'm pretty sure it only runs pretty sluggish, so that's what some critics seems to think about that. But anyway, so let's go ahead and, head into level 2. So we got ourselves a little bit of little contraptions that we saw from, the ocean treasure, so, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and, trying to concentrate here. And from what I've noticed, according to whenever I heard the rumors about the Hyrule Warriors Legends, even though I think I've already explained this before in, Super Mario Galaxy 2 recently, but in fact, that might be a bit of a tiny ordeal or something like that. Sorry for the bit of a lack of cheesiness going on. It's just because there's not much else I can talk about besides, you know, Star Fox 64 was going to be on the Wii U's Virtual Console in Europe until during the exact same day as what Hyrule Warriors Legends is about to come out, which was pretty cool. But even then, I already got the original cartridge version of the game, and that was extremely disorienting right there. I'm supposed to go on to this side instead. Because, that will actually leads me to the green crystal itself. And there's a checkpoint somewhere around here. In fact, there it is, just right over there. So, that's a good thing too, because, this section right here can give you some trouble at points. Mostly due to the fact that going onto the, another rail to another. Like, for instance, for example, in this little particular section, like, if you're about to hopefully trying to, God forbid, trying to land onto that perfectly, and then somehow it randomly bounces you off from the level itself, so I have to be more likely just to be extremely cautious with this, because obviously, although luckily though, you still get a chance to get a checkpoint or something like that, so yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the level. So, hooray! We're actually done with level 2 in this world. So, as you probably guessed it by now already, as well, that one of these levels can get even much longer than the ones in the previous worlds. So, you guys should know about that. So, alright, level 3, here we go. And we got this little zigzag paths, including those fans right there, and some metallic fists that will immediately try to crush you, so you just have to stay sharp, just don't get crushed into those things. So, I actually kind of think about it, that I think in this level that it doesn't seem to actually kill me all at once, so that's actually pretty convenient for one another. So yeah, oh yeah, don't knock this thing over because the Stomp Temple part is there, so you guys should know what I'm going for. And plus there's a, you know, oh god, that was so close, there we go. Alright, so we just have to come across to here. I'm pretty sure if you actually knock the cage down, especially when there was like the tube hole that was actually there. Oh yeah, there's a green crystal right there, and just like the Stomp Temple part, just don't knock it over just yet, because obviously that, you know. And if you come towards this way, then we actually get ourselves a final orange crystal. So now we can actually end the level off while just knocking this thing over, and then we can continuously go to the left, and that's how you do in this level. And let's see what trophy I can get. I got ourselves a silver trophy. That's actually pretty convenient. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to level 4, where there's gonna be a lot of like tubes, and as well as the hexagon platforms we can maneuver about, and there's a lava wall that we don't want to accidentally touch. So, yeah. And also, there's also not to mention bumpers in here too, so you know, we should just be very careful here, just in case. Right, so I need to get this orange crystal right there, just in case. There we go. Oh, but at least I got a checkpoint though, so I don't need to worry about that, just for now. And we're gonna have to go here, because there's a Stomp Temple part just right there, and then go into the teleportation device, so that we can actually progress through each of the level, or in this case, progression into the next parts of the level. So, you know. So, yeah, basically what this world is, it's just basically just very similar to, the ones in Coral Ripper that... Oh well, whatever. At least I might actually just got a green crystal, no problem, so... Oh well, not too much of a worry right there. In fact, it was actually right where the checkpoint was, as far as the, afterwards from there. So, since we're almost done with this game's playthrough, that, since then, that we almost done with, Munch, during the, just right now, so, and I actually got a bronze trophy for that level, so, and the Storm Temple part has been collected, so let's move on to the next, which was level 5, and this one involving some spinning cogs, so, yeah, we haven't seen those, cogs for, on this case, although, technically, we've seen the, these cogs for a little bit of a while, I don't think so. Anyway, so let's go ahead and, right onto those gears. Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say, gears, because they look like gears. And now if we go down here to this giant slant, there's a Storm Temple pile where you can collect, but luckily if you do fall off, if you do touch the checkpoint, then you probably guarantee that you can be safe from that. So, and there's also the, another thing I'd like to discuss about, that, there's also another film that was gonna be coming out in, this, well, in this Friday at least. Around before or after when, Hyrule Warriors Legends has been come out. Oh yeah, before we actually continue for this level, if we approach from here, if my controller doesn't acting quite weird, is that there is actually a teleportation device just right over here. And then what basically that will lead us to... This will actually lead us to over into this destination point here, where there is a little bit of a pathway we can actually maneuver about. And just like the haunted house, I think it's level 1, that basically you have to maneuver these invisible or clearly see platforms and sometimes not see platforms. So even now that it starts to fade out or something like that. So, and right off the bat we got ourselves a green crystal right where at the end was. Although, if you want to make this level a bit too fast, mind you, in that, as soon as you touch the checkpoint, then you can basically blaze through the level quite quickly, so no need to backtrack to actually get into it, so... Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, I gotta admit though, so let's, go ahead and hop into these spinning UFOs, along with these bumpers we need to avoid, so... Oh god, this giant fist, this gonna... Oh, there we go. That doesn't harm me about that too much, though. I gotta say that much. So, alright, so we're literally halfway done with this world already. So it's getting quite quick than I expected. But sometimes the levels themselves can get pretty long sometimes. So anyways, let's move on to level 6, Space Station. Okay, so I think, oh yeah, I really like this level. This level's quite fun. In fact, because of that, we have some speed boosters. So, and there's a green crystal right off the back. So, and I think when we actually get into this little particular segment, that I think we actually already grabbed ourselves. Stupid. Anyway, I think right off the bat, I think I actually got the Storm Temple part quite literally easily for the beginning part of the level. So, that's actually pretty cool for that part. So, yeah. And there's the checkpoint right there, just in case you know what I'm doing. And you can also grab the green crystal from this way, but since I've already grabbed it from the quickest method, so I don't think I can. Although I'll just show you guys for that, just a bit of a curiosity. So anyway. And the last thing I would like to talk about, since I was going to talk to you guys from before one hand, that the next Disney film will about to be released until during on this Friday, which was well, presumably it's this Friday, that Zootropolis is actually going to be released on the theaters on well, for the rest of the world. And for what I've seen a review of this, it's has a huge success onto it, but granted, I'm actually kind of looking forward to that, but at the same time, well, usually it's quite huge, the future success of 2016 films ever made by far so far. next to Kung Fu Panda 3, as far as you guys should know about this at this point. According to Rotten Tomatoes, anyway. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move on to, Space Station Level 7. Now we have to go through the, this narrow path right here, including these magnetic device, which can actually... Oh, gosh. Here's a little bit of tricky situation. Ah, God, I have to be quite fast on that part. I quite like this theme. This does remind me of something almost related to a Super Nintendo title or something like that because of this little sound chip or something like that. So anyways, let's go ahead and dash through this little tube, and then we can go wee into this little spirally tube. That's actually quite convenient, but hey, it's pretty cool at the same time. Whoa, goodness gracious, man. Alright, if I remember this rightly, there's gonna be a green crystal on this little particular part in this section. And there's also this Storm Temple parts here too. So, how do I supposed to know that? Well, if we come across this invisible platform, and then just carefully maneuver the controller, because yes, if you do touch the gravity ball right there, that will actually reverse the controls a bit if you actually tilt the Wii remote. Depends on which directions you'll be going. So you just gotta have to keep an eye out, and you need to figure it out what control, or in this case, what movement of your control needs to supposed to be. So it can be quite tricky sometimes, especially noticeable if the gravity is actually been shifting to upside down or something like that, and there's a Storm Temple part just onto this little curve part. So hooray for that. And I assumingly I just drop immediately down into the goal sign itself. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool move, I might say. Alright, level 8, here we go. So we're literally almost done with this world already. So I was expecting that I believe just like Ocean Treasures, that I might actually go ahead and say that I might actually finish each of these worlds in just one video. So in all of these levels at least, because I think I remember back in 2013, I almost seem to actually put in a halfway point of the actual main world itself, but that's just in the old days, and because of that, that remake or the original version of the playthrough is no longer there, because, you know, it's incredibly, well, bare bones, or something like that, but anyway. And there's this giant fist again, and then, basically we can't do anything with these orange crystals just yet, though, until we get into later on, so yeah, we'll just have to save that for the time being. So let's go ahead and hop into this here to actually don't knock this thing over, because we need to get ourselves a green crystal so that we can actually grab another one of those collectibles kind of way. So let's go ahead and continue from this. So of course you can skip this while just flicking the Wiimote upward, but it can be quite difficult because you have to adjust your the little aiming for just to trying to get the marble to get onto the other side. So that's to keep one thing in my book. So let's go ahead, and there's gotta be a checkpoint around here. In fact, there it is. So yeah, there's not much else I can talk about for today, folks. It's just basically that well, seems more likely enough that it seems like I'm almost done with this game, and as well as Super Mario Galaxy 2. Well, I'll explain to that when that next part of that playthrough until later. But I'm pretty sure me and Twilight Sparkle were almost done with Banjo-Kazooie so far, so don't worry, we still got a chance to actually get these games done until we can actually move on to the next set of playthroughs, as far as I'm concerned of. And there's the goal right there. So wait, am I missing something? Ah, darn it! I think I missed the Storm Temple part in this level. Nope. Or yeah, I just missed that out. So I might have to come back for it at the end of this video. So I might actually just save that up at least. Anyways, level 9. So I wonder what this is about. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, so it's got this little platform that we can maneuver at, so that you guys should know what I'm mostly doing for this. And, yeah. So, yeah, so it's a bit awkward going on right there because, again, there's not much news I can just to think of for the guys. So, unless though that I'm actually pretty excited to actually gain myself Hyrule Warriors Legends for the 3DS, and because of that though, I do kind of like the Wii U version of Hyrule Warriors because usually it does have a Dynasty Warriors twist to it, and then just insert it just in a Zelda makeover, but I might actually go ahead and say that I might actually come back to that game until whenever I play the 3DS version of Hyrule Warriors, because obviously I might actually go ahead and just tackle for that game for myself. But even then, I could technically try to do a playthrough of it, but unfortunately that's not gonna happen because, I think one of the biggest examples I can think of is the megabyte memories, because when I try to actually edit up the video for a bit, and then even then the game itself is pretty long by the looks of it. But the only downside is that as soon as I save it onto my video editing program, but then it took like few minutes until I'm actually trying to go ahead and finish the entirety of the video's project, which that's why that playthrough was not going to happen for this year. So unfortunately, there's no way I can actually just go ahead and tackle for that game, sadly. Although I really love to, but at the same time, that I don't think it's going to happen. So, but at least I might get a chance to actually do a one Zelda game to actually tackle through. Mainly, well, recently I just purchased myself a Link to the Past on the Wii U's Virtual Console download. So even then, I might actually go ahead and say right now that I think at some time after, like, let's say about finishing some other playthroughs at this stage, that, I think I might actually start to tackle through the Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past. I know some people seem to think that the A Link to the Past is definitely one of the best, Zelda games of all time, next to Ocarina of Time. Which I totally agree with, because, usually although granted, the only problem I have with it is that I have to restart the whole game again, so anyway. Well, this level's pretty fun. It's basically we have to go through those tubes, and alongside with that, we could actually just touch those little orb stuff that actually change the gravity, so that's pretty fun though. At least if you actually... Yeah, you don't want to touch the gold just right there, because if you go right this way, this is where we actually get ourselves a green crystal. This is by far the hardest green crystal in the game, because as soon as you actually get into this cannon part, which you have to go through all 4 of those by the way, and then if you aim yourself just right on there, then you pretty much guarantee it that... What?! That does not count! I hate when I try to immediately die from, or even then, it kind of reminds me of like a Mario vs Donkey Kong vibe. But anyway, except you don't have lives to deal with. So anyway, so let's hit into the goal straight away. So, yeah, the green crystal is actually on the cannon section. So if you aim yourself on the cannons just right, then you basically guarantee it that you're gradually going to grab the green crystal as much as you can do. So, yeah, unfortunately I missed out one Storm Temple part, so I figure I might actually just save that for later. But for now, let's go ahead and finish off Space Station from level 11. Or in this case, a challenge mode stage, basically. So, we have ourselves a lot of obstacles we can actually maneuver about. There's the cannons, the teleportation device, if I do say so. And this level actually contains only 4 crystals, so... And we go for dash panels. Oh gosh, that was a bit clumsy of mine. And there's this little speed booster, teleportation devices and stuff like that, and tubes. And at the end, I think they're going to be bringing out the ice tiles. So, why does my aiming shot doesn't seem to go properly? So, anyways, we got ourselves a checkpoint now, so that's good news. And, what the heck? Although, granted, I could just make it there just easily enough. So, there's the last section. Booyah! And teleportation device. And getting blown off by the fan thanks to these ice tiles that are making me go zoomingly fast. And I got a silver trophy! Oh man, I love silver trophies like this. And we got some bunch of hidden levels right there. And we actually got ourselves a new ball, which is the Earth. Where basically we have to complete the 11th stage on, you know, the space station. So now we're done with that, and now we access to the Stomp Temple. So let's see what this guy actually says. We can't get to the Stomp Temple unless we have all of the parts. You have one left to get! No! Speaking of such, I'm actually tired. Alright, back onto level 8. Do you remember when I actually just breezed through this level easily? Well, I was being an idiot, because I somehow completely ignored it. Like, if you bounce it right there, that's how you grab it. So, I'll be right back. Alright, now we've got all of the Stomp Temple parts. And now we access to the Stomp Temple itself, which I believe this might actually be the final world of the game. So, yeah, this is what happens if you grab all of these Stomp Temple parts. But if you didn't get all of the Stomp Temple parts, then you have to go for this fetch quest again. We finally made it here. Let's go. We're almost there to the Golden Sunflower. But I'm not gonna do this well just yet though, because I might discuss that until in the next video. So yeah, you only have one level to start up with. So yeah, I might actually go ahead and say I might actually finish this video right here. So next time, unless playing Marbles Balance Challenge, is the fact that we might actually go ahead and tackle through one last world, or the last main world of the game, World 7, Stomp Temple. So see you guys next time. Later, fellas.